What's up, guys? So, I don't know about you, but I tend to consume a lot of financial education or literacy content. And I'm not talking about like guru type influencers who will tell you can be rich if you buy a course. Because I'm being completely honest, a lot of that stuff is just the biggest scam in the entire fucking world. I'm talking about people like Caleb Hammer or like Dave Ramsey, like people who actually give real advice, and a lot of the advice is actually practical. I think a lot of people have this like fantasy that they could get rich by like earning passive income or by just getting rich with like crypto or other things like that. And I'm not saying that like people don't get rich doing that because it is possible. I've seen people get rich like that, but the likelihood of you actually getting rich by investing into some meme coins is probably a lot less likely than what it is to like find a high paying job, lower your cost of living, and like living a modest life into wealth. Because to be honest, that's the 100% no bullshit way of getting rich. And I think a lot of people overlook that and they kind of just see everything as like a quick get them out of their situation now type of thing. But I see a lot of things about like getting passive income or making a stream of passive income, and you can retire and live on the beach and work or just fucking play video games on the beach essentially. And I think like there's a lot of misconception when it comes to that. And I think the biggest thing is like passive income. People think that they would just make money while they're sleeping, or they could just set it and forget it. And from in my experience, my Amazon business, like I make money in my sleep, but it still does require a lot of work. And I think when it comes to those like more passive types of businesses or incomes, it is more passive than hands-on, but it's not 100% passive. And I think a lot of people who think about passive income, or I think a lot of people who talk about this dream of wanting passive income, is like they just never have to do anything and then they just get money in their bank account. And honestly, like that's not really how it works. So like my Amazon business, it took me like 3 months realistically to like, nah, maybe like 2 months to like fully understand what I was doing. And even now, like I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I'm doing about 4 to 5K a month in revenue, which is not a lot of money when it comes to like Amazon. Like Amazon's a really capital intensive business, so you need to have a lot of money flowing in and out. You need to be making a lot of orders. Like I know people who I network with and they're spending like 50K a month, like 60K a month, and they're managing warehouses and they're managing returns and they're managing replens and all these different things. And I know they're busy people. And granted, like they could live off of that money, especially if you're making like a healthy 25%. But in reality, man, like passive income is not really existent. It doesn't exist. And I know like a lot of people know or say that like real estate is also a passive income money maker, money machine. But honestly, in my opinion, like owning real estate seems cool, but it kind of almost seems like the biggest headache in the world. Because like not only do you have to put up a lot of money up front as well, and I know you can be creative with your financing and stuff like that, but just dealing with people and maintaining properties, I think like to me sounds super unappealing. I don't really want to deal with like unexpected costs, and it's like semi passive at best. You have to hire a lot of people. There's a lot more like what's the word? regulation. Yeah, there's a lot more regulation in it than I think people think. Like every state and every province, for example, they have a lot of like different rules that you have to play by. So, yeah. And the next thing I want to talk about is like crypto and stocks. Now, I'm not really a big crypto guy, but I know a lot of people who are. And like I've had out of all the people I've known, and I know a decent amount of people from like the careers that I've been in, there's only one dude who I've known that actually kind of made it out. Like he turned like 5 grand into like 150 in a year, and now I know to like a lot of people they want to make that in like a week or like a day, and like a lot of these like trading crypto influencers, they make it seem like you can do that just magically overnight. And I mean, yeah, sure you can. Like this dude has fumbled like a 7 figure bag, which is like the most insane thing. Like I remember he told me, like he showed me his charts, like his money went up to 7 figures, like $1 million. And he was like sleeping at the time, and I don't know like how his style of trading is. I know everybody's different. But yeah, like he missed it. He sold for profit, but he missed it. And I think you have to kind of just be in the right place at the right time for things like that. And it doesn't always happen for everybody. And a lot of people, they kind of just get rugged. And I know like that's a huge thing. Like influencers and kind of scamming people or like rug pulling people, it's really common in that community. So for me, crypto is something I kind of stay away from unless I'm just like, like there's like the big ones, Bitcoin and Ethereum. But a lot of the times when people think of like getting rich and passive income, they don't necessarily look towards that. But I did find some pretty interesting facts. And one of them was that only 20% of American households earn passive income. And the main sources of income for that are dividends, interest, and property rentals. So like dividends would be investing into like SPY or VU or VITX or any sort of like large ETF that pays monthly dividends. Um, yeah, so a lot of money that people in America actually earn passively through are really boring large ETFs that you typically find in your retirement or like a 401k. And I think that's completely the exact opposite of what social media teaches us, which is pretty interesting. And it says on here that the median passive income is $4,200 a year. So if we really break that down, that's like less than $400 a month. So like people who are actually investing and making true passive income, they're only making $4,200 a year. And like what really makes me kind of cringe at all these influencers and course sellers is they claim that anybody can do it and you can live off of this passive income. But when statistics show you $4,200 a year is not livable on, and then on top of that, you actually need all the money to buy the stocks. So it's like it's kind of ass backwards, which is pretty interesting to know. But like I'm in California, and there's a statistic about California, and it says that their median passive income is 7,000 a year, which is I guess higher than 4,200 a year. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about that. And like I don't know, I've been seeing a lot more course sellers and grifters online about selling get rich quick schemes or selling courses on passive income. And join my Discord for like the latest crypto pumps or you know things like that, like day trade with me and join my course to learn how to day trade. And like dude, there's so many people who lose money on day trading, and I have definitely been one of them. Like there have been times where I was trading and I was like, this is it, this is like I'm gonna never work again in person. I'm just going to sit on my laptop and make a lot of money. And I think there's a lot of ups and downs. And at the time, I definitely didn't have the discipline to actually keep the money that I was making. Because honestly, man, like you get really addicted to that stuff. And not addicted like in the way of drugs, but like how kind of how like a gambling addict is addicted. Like you'll make a little bit of money and then you realize that like, oh, if I do this, I make money. So then you just like keep doing it more and more. And obviously if you swing big, you win big. So like that mindset definitely plays into like trading and gambling and stuff like that. And honestly, like I took the biggest risk, I guess. Like I took out money from my accounts and I put it all into my Amazon business, which I know a lot of people would think that's absolutely insane. But honestly, I've been making like 25% a month in profit margin. So to me, that's way better than making, the average return on the S&P 500, which is maybe like 5%. I think it's like 9%. Um, but I'm making 25% a month. So when you really think about it, I took that risk and I spent multiple months just like that was my whole entire life. I was learning and I was just buying shit left and right and experimenting with different products on how I could, turn this business into a little bit more passively, or I can like make turn the business more passive. And that's what I did. And I know I'm talking about how passive income isn't real, and I'm not saying that my business is passive. I'm just saying that I put systems in place and I've developed SOPs where I don't have to put in as much work as I did in the beginning. I don't have to learn as many things. I don't have to do as many processes because I understand how the business works now. And I still have to work on it. I still have returns. I still have to send things into the warehouse. I still have to prep and stuff like that. But now it is so much quicker and easier, and I understand what I'm doing now. So I think a lot of people who are telling you passive income online is 100% set it and forget it, make money forever. It's kind of not true at all.